And we are live here in Detroit, Michigan, the home of the Detroit Lions. And with me today, Justin Holland. Thanks for joining me, Justin.
How's it going, Brian?
Great. We got a great matchup today. Today is the Wildcard round. We have the 10-6 New York Giants taking on the 14-2 Detroit Lions. Justin, what sticks out to you the most just looking at these records?
I mean, obviously, both teams have had success really mostly through the air. If you look at both teams, obviously, Detroit has had a phenomenal year at 14-2, but they did lose earlier this year to New York. So I'd be interested to see if they get revenge.
You know, one of the things that sticks out to me is how do you play in a wild card round going 14-2? Well, I'm going to tell you, we're going to take a look at the playoffs here. We're going to look at the matchups. So if we look at the number one seed, it's the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have a great team. They've only lost one game. And you look at the Lions, they only lost 2 games. So how did the Falcons get that? Well, they lost 2 games as well, and they have the tiebreaker against them. So you have a fantastic Detroit Lions team taking the 3rd seed when normally that record should get you the first seed overall. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And I believe the Cardinals only had 3 losses. So if you look at the top 4 seeds overall, I mean, your top 4 seeds have a combined, 1, 5, 8 losses combined. That's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah, and taking a look at this, I mean, you've got 4 fantastic teams that won their respective divisions, and then you also got the Redskins, who unfortunately got eliminated today, and the New York Giants, who are playing today, obviously. But you got that East that actually did really well. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everything plays out with these 4 outstanding teams. And then you look over the AFC. The Raiders actually took that number 1 seed away from the Browns. It was very close up until the end. So it's going to be very interesting to see here. But what we want to take a look at right now is take a look at how these 2 teams rank against each other. You got the Detroit Lions, first overall on points per game. If you watch them, they are slinging the ball all over the field. However, Justin, tell us why they may be in trouble today.
Well, a couple of reasons. So, for one, the Lions are missing a ton of key personnel. The Giants are actually gaining back key personnel that they've been missing. So, for example, I believe they were missing Julio Jones for 5 or 6 weeks, and now he's back. I think, Coach Larson is going to have to be really careful distributing the ball with his backup quarterback, make sure that obviously he doesn't turn the ball over. But ultimately, I mean, the wide receivers for this team are so good. It's so fast. They should be able to get open.
And then you look on the other side, you look at the Giants and look what they've done. They're 7th in points per game, but it's because of the wide receivers that they have. They have 3 of arguably the top receivers in the entire XCFL. And you've got Jimmy Garoppolo distributing the ball to these guys. I mean, you would think that that's a big job, especially with all these egos around them, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, you look at just their top 2 with Odell Beckham Jr. and Julio Jones, both, I believe, full 99 overall rated players, both young studs in this league, and really will be around for a few more years. So it's pretty insane that he's assembled this wide receiver core.
It is really. And, to kind of go back to the Detroit Lions, we talk about the backup. Brad Kaya, this is not a household name, but if you do remember season 1, he did step in for Matthew Stafford, and actually almost led him to the playoffs. So this guy is no joke. But Matthew Stafford just signing his extension, this is not a good look for the Lions. They do have an outstanding defense, but they struggled to stop the Giants in their first game. To me, I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but what really worries me is, can Brad Kaya start off hot? This is what we're really going to have to look for. So with that in mind, Justin, tell me about your key player that you want to talk about.
So first player on my book is going to be Jarvis Landry. I think, Landry is going to be really both of the receivers on opposite ends are going to be great. But look at his catch or his yards per catch average. I mean, 58 receptions, 1,400 yards, 18 TDs. That's a solid year from a guy that, really he's not your typical kind of breakout wide receiver. He's normally that 800 to 1,000-yard type guy. So he's had a phenomenal year. I'm interested to see if he can find holes in this defense.
And for me, I'm going to go on the other side of the ball position, and actually very similar stats. And we're going to take a look at Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham had a phenomenal year, especially being surrounded, having to compete with Julio Jones and Alshon Jeffrey for, catches. So this is going to be the spotlight player for me. Can Odell Beckham break this coverage? I mean, the Lions led the league in interceptions. This is going to be huge for them to see if they can actually go ahead and, get this going. I will be shocked if Garoppolo doesn't throw for at least 3 touchdowns. But the question is, how many turnovers? That's going to for me, is going to be key for this upcoming game. So we're about ready to start. So we're going to maybe talk a little bit more about the matchups. But in your mind, is there anything else that sticks out to you? Well, for me, the one other thing that sticks out to me is the Giants' defense. They actually ranked number 4 overall, which is kind of surprising, especially overshadowed by this phenomenal offense that they carry. If you look there, they rank 3rd against the pass and 16th against the run, 16th against points per game. But they've actually caused a lot of turnovers. The Giants last year had a giant collapse. This year, everybody picked against them, and they slid into the playoffs. They have already beat the Lions, but now we're going to see, can they carry this to the next level? Can they win this? They no longer have Eli Manning at the helm. They now have to rely on Jimmy Garoppolo, a little bit of experienced quarterback here. So this is going to be very telling. Now, the one thing I will point out is that their rushing offense is almost dead last. For me, you're going to have to run the ball and get that going. Detroit Lions going to sit in pass coverage, and they're going to pick you off all day. What about you, Justin? Is there anything else that you can take away from this matchup?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing is going to be and I think you alluded to it earlier, but the Detroit Lions secondary. They have the luxury of having one of the best the best secondary in the XCFL. So to have those guys back in coverage with that speed and length, and to be able to maybe get after the passer, in this case Jimmy Garoppolo, with an extra blitzer, or even bring in just a 4-man rush, they have that luxury that a lot of teams don't have. So I'm interested to see if that holds true here, or if Garoppolo can pick them apart.
Yeah, and there's a lot of discussion. Can the Giants repeat what they did a couple weeks ago? For me, I think they can. It's a matter of really mixing up the run and pass, because if you're just going to go out there and pass against the Lions, you're going to lose. I really think that they've got to put pressure on this young quarterback and be able to turn the ball over. I think if they do that, they can win the game. I think if they can't, they're going to lose. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and take it. We're going to go down to the field, and we are going to start the broadcast. So it looks like that the Lions are going to be kicking off first. What do you do if you're the Giants? Do you go ahead and come out here and start slinging the ball around, or do you want to eat up some of this clock and keep your offense on the field?
Well, I mean, it all depends on how Coach Chad wants to play this, because you can do either one, really. And I think the biggest thing is he's been aggressive all year long. Obviously, he kind of lives and dies by the passing game, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo's got 36 touchdowns on the year. He's got 31 picks, though. But I think you got to come out and at least sling it and maybe open up that running game.
I agree. Within the last couple of weeks, they've actually been pretty successful with the run. Earlier in the season, it seems like first down, they don't get any yards off of it. They go straight to the pass, and that's what has got their rank down to 30. But if you watch them over the last couple of weeks, they have been able to run the ball better. It will be very telling to see if they can run against this Lions defense. Lions are very stingy when it comes to the run. So we're going to see they come out in a single back formation. And it looks like the Lions are actually coming in a bear formation. So it doesn't look like the 3 wide receiver set is scaring them at all yet.
Yeah, that's interesting, because obviously, they're leaving their guys out on islands right now.
Yeah, and Gallman gets about 3 yards on that. What do you think about that? I mean, for me, it looks like they just all-out blitz because they expected that run. But if Chad would have actually audible that into like a verts or some sort of quick slants, the Lions could have been in trouble.
Yeah, I'm still okay with the play call though because it was a pitch and it was a toss route to go outside. He ran away from that blitz. So even though it was only 3 yards, I still think it's a successful first down, positive yardage.
I'm with you on that. 3 yards isn't bad. You want to put yourself in a short third position here. So it looks like they're going to give the ball back to Gallman. They're going to stick with the run. I do like this. He only gets about 3 more yards on this carry, but it's going to put him in a 3rd down and 3 situation. This is really what we were talking about. This is what they want to do. They want to slow down the pace of this game.
Yeah, for sure. And there you go. So just what you talked about, do you come out and sling it around, or do you come out and run the ball and keep possession of it? And it looks like Chad has decided to do the latter and keep possession.
Absolutely. Now, it looks like they are going to come out in a 4 wide receiver set, shotgun it, and they are going to run the ball, but Nick was not faked out by that. He did squeeze the line in, and they did stop that run. Very good stop by Nick to go ahead and force them in a 3-and-out situation.
Yeah, and a lot of users, it seems, try that inside zone handoff, which, coming from the shotgun, it looked like a passing play to run all the way. And it just didn't fool anybody on this one.
And to be honest with you, it looks like the Lions were ready for this run game. I mean, they haven't really came out in this really aggressive set yet, and they were really good about. Now, it did surprise me they ran all 3 plays, but it looked like they were kind of ready for that. They were expecting Chad to kind of open that running playbook. So it will be now at this situation, are you going to trust Kaya to make these throws? Or are you going to kind of do the same thing? You're going to kind of lead with that run?
Well, I mean, part of the problem here is going to be that the Lions are without Tevin Coleman. So, I think they're going to have to figure out how to run the ball kind of all over again.
And look, play action, they go with the verticals, but he gets sacked. And this is where the experience comes in. It looks like the Giants kind of bun rushed him there. He didn't want to make a bad decision on that play. I do think that the experience is going to come into play, and we've already seen it with this 1st down situation.
Yeah, and I'm actually okay with Kaya taking the sack there, though. You don't want to throw it up in the air, especially with a verticals route like that.
Absolutely. Oh, it's almost intercepted. Kaya actually got bailed out that time. He threw right into coverage. So 3rd and 17, it doesn't look like either offense has really produced a bunch. If it's me, I'm going to run a draw right up the middle because I'm going to get some of these yards back. But you know how Nick likes to play the game. He's very aggressive on the sticks.
Absolutely. And, honestly, the other thing that I like is maybe a post route or a drag route, something that's safe over the middle. Where, even if it's picked off, it's not coming back for 6.
Absolutely. So it looks like they are going to go in 5 wide. It looks like they are going to bring Lewis in motion. Pump fake. They do go over the middle, or they go to the sideline, and it's incomplete. That was actually another dangerous throw by Kaya. It looked like the safety did jump the route on that one. They're going to have to give the ball back. So 2 possessions and 2 punts. I mean, would you have expected this if I would have said this before the game?
Not at all. Both of these teams are such a run and gun type offense. They can just move down the field almost at will. I mean, both teams can score at will. So that's interesting that they both punted on their first possession.
Yeah, and the way that I look at it now, I mean, look for Chad to kind of open the playbook up a little bit. He's been, okay about getting the runs, but he can see that Nick is expecting these runs. So I expect him to kind of open the playbook up a little bit and maybe try to go downfield, especially knowing that Kaya is not going to beat you long.
Well, and the other thing I think will be interesting to see is as the field possession game develops, you can, once you get to around the 50-yard line, you can take bigger risks because even an interception is just like a punt at that point.
Oh, wow. Look at this. Play action. Goes down the field to Beckham. Beckham almost hauls it in, but he does drop the ball. So we do go 2nd down and 10. I do like that play call because you are kind of stretching the field a little bit. You're going to make Nick play honest. And so he can't play everybody up.
Yeah, and the other thing is that was interesting to me there is actually, and I believe it was Marvin Jones on the last Lions possession on the 3rd down. But both receivers had the ball hit them in the hands and dropped it because of contact. So
absolutely,
both of the defenses are just, they're coming after and laying the wood.
It looks like Giants come out in a 3 tight end set here. They do pass the ball, get it out to their tight end, and he gets about 9 yards, does not get the first down. But look, 3rd down and 1 situation. That's what they need. Let's get ahead and get a run. Let's get a first down and move the chains. And that looks like I like the play call. He didn't get the first down, but he was very close to doing that.
Yeah, and the other thing too is honestly, you have the option here. You can do a run, you can do a play action, you can do a quick pass. When you put yourself in 3rd and short, you have so many options available.
Absolutely. Looks like they are going to run with Gallman. Gallman does get the first down. Looks like Nick was in the backfield, but he was not able to contain that running back. He does get it with the power row. And look, first down, put them in good field position. They're on their own 43, but they're moving the chains. I got to like what they're doing. What about you?
Yeah, listen, it's not pretty, but it's effective. And ultimately, that's all that really matters is just as they move the chains. This could end up being a first quarter where we see it 0-0 or 3-0 or something like that, because they're both teams are playing pretty.
Oh, look at this long run. Gallman gets to the outside. Nick cannot get him. He gets down to the 25-yard line. A nice run there, and it looks like Nick did go all-out blitz on that one. He was able to spot the inside blitz, takes it to the outside. Beautiful run play.
Yeah, the other thing that it was interesting there is they came out in either the 2 or 3 tight end set. Sorry, the thing went away on me. But they came out in either a 2 or 3 tight end set, and it was strong right, and they ran away from that side.
He did, and now it looks like he was sacked. They brought the entire blitz on this one. This is what Chad's going to have to watch for. When you're running these play action, the dangerous part in this is the blitzing. We know Nick is very aggressive with his defense and trusts his corners, so he likes to send the house. If you're going to play action past that, these guys are going to get the sack, so you got to be careful with that. So it puts them in a 2nd and 18 position here.
Yeah, and he wasn't even creative with that one, to be honest with you. He just dialed up the same type of blitz.
Ooh, they could have got a pass interference on that one. Looks like Ingram over the middle. He does not catch at the ball. Puts them at 3rd and 18 on their own 33. What do you do in the situation? Do you try to get all 18, or do you just try to get enough to get in a better field goal range?
No, I think you give your kicker a chance at this point. You don't want to risk. You are in field goal range at this point. Maybe run a draw, kick a field goal, get the points.
Looks like Chad is going to go with the pass. Gets it over. Look at that. The Lions played too far back, and it was able to open up the middle for Odell Beckham. He was able to get the first down. First down and goal at their 7.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, but right before the snap, Nick did a couple of pre-snap adjustments, and one of them was he moved those safeties way back, and it just opened up that middle, 20 yards out.
Yeah, and maybe he thought he was going to go with the 4 verticals on that one and try to be safe, but looks like Chad kind of outsmarted him on that one. So first down, they don't get anything on that. They actually lose a yard. So, when you're down here on the 8-yard line, you're going to play it safe. You're going to maybe run some quick slants, or this is kind of a dangerous situation for both teams.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, this is where those screen passes, this is where those toss plays, those kind of anything that gets to the edge, as long as your blockers can seal the edge, this is where those are effective.
Oh, look here. Inside zone, up the middle, and he gets about 2 yards back on that. So it's going to be 3rd down and go up to 6. I do like the play call. They do come out in a shotgun formation, but, now can do that again. So you're either going to have to commit to the run or commit to the pass on this one.
And it's kind of funny because actually Goldman had a hole had he just stayed the course and gone to the left side of the line. But he cut it up between the guard and the center, and that's actually where he met the defender.
Yeah, and Chad is not really good about following his blockers. And look at that. I have to say that actually worked in Chad's favor. He was throwing into coverage whoever he threw to, and he didn't get a sack. So that incompletion actually helps him out. He should be able to kick this. He really dodged a bullet on that one.
Yeah, and that's what you got to be careful with, is that obviously that back baseline is going to, become the 12th defender, if you will. You got to be real careful throwing into coverage down here in the red zone.
Absolutely. On 3rd down, you don't have to really play those flats. You can kind of play back. And, when you do that, you allow your defenders to play in the entire end zone. So you almost have to be completely perfect on your pass and your read. So, yeah, he definitely was bailed out on that one. So we'll see what Nick does, see if he trusts his quarterback or maybe puts it in the hands of Dion Lewis. Again, Tevin Coleman, he's hurt. This is a big acquisition they had last year. This is definitely going to hurt their run game. Now, he has been pretty successful with Lewis, but do you put your whole game plan into Lewis's hands? I mean, you're kind of, your hands are kind of tied in both areas, right?
I mean, to me, with Lewis, he's such a shifty back. To me, I'm trying screens. I'm trying to get him out in space. Maybe that quick toss where it gets him out to the edge, because he's not going to run between the tackles like Tevin Coleman. Yep,
and he just ran a zone for about 1 yard. It looks like Chad was ready for that one, and he did get him. Like you said, he's a shifty back, but he's also got a little bit of power to him. So they're going to have to open up holes. If Kaya continues to struggle, Chad's going to have about 8 or 9 guys in that box. He's almost going to have to prove that he can beat him with the quarterback.
Yeah, this is where I start to dial up some drag routes or just some quick slants, something to get confidence.
Incompletion. It did look like for a second that Chad did get the interception on that, but it looks like his cornerback did drop that. Another situation where he kind of got bailed out as well. So they're down in 9 on your own 28.
You got to be careful with that tip drill like that, where
absolutely
obviously that's a dangerous play right there.
Well, it's a dangerous throw, and he threw it again in double coverage. You can see the difference between Matt Stafford and Brad Kaya at this point. 3rd and 9.
Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Brian. Call this, and I'll speak to that.
It looks like Brad Kaya actually threw the perfect pass, and his receiver did drop it. It looks like he probably could have, if he could have caught the ball, and he would have been gone.
Yeah, he could have had 6 there. One thing as we wrap up the first quarter that I was going to point out is that, this is what happens when it was, for example, when I had Jared Goff go down, it was similar. I had to get used to a whole nother quarterback style. And you see that happening with Kaya here. Nick's so used to Matt Stafford being able to just pummel the ball into tight windows. Kaya can't do that.
Yeah, and you almost have to completely change your game plan. Looks like that the Lions very bad punt on this one, and they are actually going to give the Giants great field position on their own 39.
Yeah, and that's huge for Coach Chad here, because he's going to be able to have short field. Worst case scenario, even if you go 3 and out, you're going to pin the Lions deep in their own territory.
Yeah, absolutely, and it looks like they're coming out in 3 wide.
Defensive battle we see here.
Yeah, I mean, this is again, we talked about this. If you'd have asked me before the game, I would have never guessed this. He does have a free play here because Lions did go off sides. Smartly goes deep, doesn't get the pass, but he will get 5 yards off of this. So it's going to be 1st and 5 on their 44. But yeah, you talk about the defensive struggle. Are you shocked by this?
I am. And one thing that I want to point out just on that last play is Garoppolo's pocket presence. So Chad, I mean, he's got all day to throw the ball, but you'll notice he just casually steps back and then steps forward in the pocket and delivers a strike. It was actually a well-thrown ball. It just, didn't connect.
Yeah, and that was kind of shocking, if you ask me. But it looks like Giants have kind of controlled the game. And look, to Gallman again, and Gallman gets a ton of yardage here. He's got 8 rushes for 59 yards.
Yeah, and he just, again, he cut that outside, and then he got into open space and made that first man miss. But he was untouched for the first probably 15, 20 yards of that run.
When you acquire 2 of the best receivers to go along with Odell Beckham, and you're running the ball the way you are, I mean, to me, it's almost brilliant. I mean, you're putting him out there just so, he has to respect his receivers, but he's running the ball, and he's successful at it.
Well, one thing that you had actually pointed out with Julio's time in Atlanta is Julio's an excellent run blocker. And so when you're running at Julio Jones, it's almost like having another left tackle out there.
Absolutely. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but they did get a nice carry there, a nice gain. Gets it to his receiver over the middle. They're first down on the 22-yard line.
Yeah, and that's Brandon Marshall. I mean, again, it seems like every time you call somebody's name in this passing game, it's a stud.
Yeah. Or it was a stud about 5 years ago, right? Looks like they do get about 1 yard on that. They did do the counter, but it didn't work. It looks like the Lions were ready for that.
Yeah, it was almost if you see, it was a misdirection play, which was kind of a broken play right from the start because there were two Lions defenders literally standing in the hole where he was going to run.
Oh, Garoppolo has all the time in the world. Why would you throw that? He throws an interception in the triple coverage. That was probably one of the worst decisions he could have made.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to point out is he had his tight end, or potentially, I don't know if it was his tight end or his fullback, but he had somebody open literally right over the middle.
He did, and that looks like he had that one look. I mean, he had the blinders on.
Yeah, he was locked onto that receiver the whole time.
Unfortunately, yeah, and it looks like, oh man, that's disappointing for Lewis. Lewis, he had open field, but he got caught behind his blocker and couldn't get around him. So instead of a 20, 30, even a 90-yard touchdown, he only gets 5 yards off of that.
Yeah, that really could have been to the house because he's so quick to hit the hole. He could have been gone. But even still, I know it's not a 90-yard touchdown, but a 5-yard pickup on first down when you're pinned deep like that, that's still a positive gain.
Absolutely. So we go 2nd and 5. Looks like they are going to run the ball again. Looks like the big boy in the middle clogs it up. He does not get anything on that play. We are going into 3rd and 5.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that, if it were me on that, I would have tried to flip the play towards that left side of the line. If you look at the pre-snap, it was wide open over there. And, I don't know, maybe Nick just thought that his play call would at least dial up a first down there.
Yeah, I saw that too, and you're right. It's kind of surprising he didn't flip that. So it looks like they are coming out in 5 wide, trusting the arm of Brad Kai in this situation.
Yeah, and I think ultimately you have to at least to start to try to trust Brad Kaya.
Yeah, he did do good last year, so it's going to be interesting to see if he can. Oh, look here, gets it to Galladay. Nice gain on that one. First completed pass of the game, and it goes for 19 yards.
Yeah, that's your big wide receiver, big possession guy. You'll notice he even made a man miss, which is not really his specialty. But that's a great play call because it's an easy route to hit assuming that the middle is open.
Absolutely. And you notice that Landry was going down the seam, which pulled some of the defenders back to open up that middle. Great play call. And look here, overthrows his receiver. He is 1 for 6 right now. Is there a cause for concern?
I mean, yes and no. Obviously, there is a cause for concern, but outside of that slant, which really was wide open, he hasn't had a real good day. I just think that you have to deliver the ball quicker and to easier routes, slants, drags, posts, things that are going to be open.
I think you're absolutely right on that. He's getting a little bit too difficult, and he doesn't need to. Like you said, trust your receivers and let them, break some separation. Don't try to get too fancy with what you're trying to do. Don't make him do too much. Right. And they're on second and long. They only get 1 yard on that slip screen. So 3rd and 9. Yep. What do you do here?
Well, if it's me, you have to drop back and pass, but you have to play it safe. You don't want to deliver an interception on a silver platter to Chad with a short field. But if it's me, I probably go empty set and then maybe again, and I know I keep saying it, but a drag over the middle can pick up 8 or 9 yards and potentially get the first down. Absolutely. It looks like they are going to go with 4, and they do get the first down, it looks like, with a slant to, I think, it's 4th and inches. They do not get that. That is huge. If I'm the Lions, I'm challenging that. Yeah, I may take a look at that myself. And if not, though, honestly, this might be my one 4th down that I go for it. I know you're deep in your own territory, but 4th and inches like that. Yeah, you got to trust your defense at this point. You've only allowed 3 points, all right? I mean, you got to kind of trust them in that situation. Oh, nice punt by the Lions. Pins them on the 8-yard line. And that's another thing that we didn't really talk about is that, maybe this is going to be a possessional game, where each team is going to try to position the other in the worst field position. Absolutely. And the one thing that I wanted to point out on that punt is actually, we had talked about the other day offline about the new XCFL, maybe not new, but the modified punting rules. And really, he executed that to perfection and kept it well within the rules. So that was a great punt.
It was. And look, the Giants come out and 3 wide. The Giants come out in 3 wide. The Lions come out in a dime coverage, and they run the ball and they stop it. That's pretty impressive. I mean, they did get 3 yards, but it wasn't anything long. So they are coming out in another 3 wide situation.
Yeah, and the thing that you got to look for here is, I'd be willing to bet that Chad's going to dial up a play action or a quick pass.
He gets a pass to the post, and he does not get the pass. Or the outside pass, and he does not. The receiver does not catch it.
He had that corner route, but I mean, honestly, both sides, these secondary or the 2 secondaries, I should say, they're not ball hawking right now, so they're not coming and playing the ball aggressively, but they're laying the wood on these receivers, and there's no room for error.
Well, and I can tell you, and they just got a first down there. I can tell you that Nick is relying on his defense. He's rode their back all season long. Obviously, he had Matt Stafford, but with Matt Stafford going down, he's relying on them even more.
Yeah, and the interesting thing there too, Brandon Marshall over the middle on that looks like maybe it was basically a seam route. I know it was a 4 vertical, but it's a kind of a seam route there. And he ends up getting hit literally as he lays his hands on the ball. Luckily makes the completed catch, but pretty unbelievable how quickly these guys are getting to the receivers.
Absolutely. And we come up on the 2-minute warning. Both teams have all their timeouts left. Chad's first and down on his zone 36, up 3-0 here on the XCFL network. Looks like he's going to come out in the 3 wide again with the tight end. And this is such a dangerous formation for him. And he's going to run the ball up the middle with Gallman. Gallman gets nice carry there. He gets about 5 yards. 6 yards, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's absolutely again, he's been doing such a good job of running the ball for positive yardage on first down. And really, Nick hasn't. It's not like he's been sitting in passing coverages or passing plays the entire time. It's pretty unbelievable that he's been able to gain these chunk yardages on first down on the run.
Look. And he almost gets sacked, gets the ball out to his running back, but it is incomplete. Both quarterbacks below a 500 passing completion.
Yeah, and that was almost picked again, actually. Again, tip drill, but careful. I know we all think that the interception is only there if the safety or the corner can jump the route, but you see a lot of those jump balls like that.
Absolutely. Looks like they are 3rd and 4, and they are going to go with the screen pass. Oh, look at that. It looks like Perkins gets the first down, but it looks like the Lions snuffed that out as the defensive tackle followed him over there, and he wasn't able to get him. That's huge.
Yeah, if you're the defensive lineman there, you have to make that play.
Especially when you know when it's coming, right?
Yeah, you literally you snuffed it out. You're gonna bring up a big 3rd down. You have to be able to make that tackle.
Looks like play action. Looks like the coverage is great on this play. If I'm him, I'm throwing it away, and that's exactly what he does. Great coverage by the Lions on that play. So it does set up a 2nd and long situation on about half midfield. So if you're the Lions, are you going to start thinking about taking your timeouts here?
Well, I mean, I'd like to see obviously what happens here first. If he were to run the ball for say 2 or 3 yards, absolutely. But if it's 3rd and 1, I might let the clock run down because I don't want to give him a chance at more point. Looks
like they come out. Oh, instead of going with the short route, he goes long, almost gets intercepted. Incomplete pass on that one, but he actually had the receiver on the right side wide open.
Yeah, and actually, Odell Beckham Jr. ends up playing corner on that one and breaking up the pass because really that was directly into the cornerback's hands on that play.
Yeah, absolutely. That sets up a 3rd and long situation. And not really a great.
I was just going to say, interesting that I think I may have misspoke earlier because I haven't seen Julio Jones at all, so he may still be injured.
No, he's actually not injured. He's actually on the game, or he's out there, but it looks like he's maybe they just have him out there as a decoy or something.
Yeah, because we haven't called his name at all.
Looks at that 3 tight end set. They get the first. Do they get the first down? Oh, it's an injury timeout. They do get the first down. That looked like that was short.
Yeah, well, what happened is Evan Ingram rolls up on the defender and rolls into what basically from a 4th and short to a 1st and 10.
And look at this. They're coming out into a 3 tight end set again. Looks like that they've been really successful running and passing out of this.
Yeah, now if it's me here, 2 timeouts, I'm going to pass, but I'm going to play safe passes, try to get the ball, move the ball downfield to where you can take a couple quick strikes at the end zone and then kick it if you have to.
So I just have been informed that Avery Williamson, the stud middle linebacker for the Lions, is out for the game at least. They think that he has broken his arm, which is huge for this Lions defense.
Yeah, and again, this goes back to, say, it calls up memories of like the Green Bay Packers back when they played in the actually they won the Super Bowl against the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had literally 11 guys on injured reserve.
Yeah, the Lions have been really hit by the injury bug this year, along with the Falcons. So it'll be interesting if they can pick up from that. Ooh, look at the pass over to Ingram. Ingram gets the first down to the 22-yard line. Looks like Garoppolo is getting a little bit of momentum going.
Yeah, he is. Now, one thing to note is that, and not that, obviously it's Madden, but Evan Ingram has taken some weird, awkward hits. So let's pay attention to that and see if that aggressive tackling is going to end up taking him out.
Right, and it does look like they are going with a 3 wide receiver, 1 tight end set. Looks like Lions setting in coverage, sending only 3 to the corner. Beckham gets 2 toes in, gets the first down. They are 1st and goal at the 8-yard line. This is huge for the Giants right now.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And obviously, the big thing that I liked on there is that they're moving back, and then the Lions, I should say, are moving back in coverage, and Beckham just finds that hole on the side.
And remember, last time they were in the red zone, they did throw an interception, so it's going to be very key to find out what they do here if they stay aggressive. Oh, looks like Gallman right up the middle. Touchdown. 6 points for the Giants. They are going to be up if they make the extra point, 10-0.
And the extra points up and good. So the Giants take a 10-0 lead on that, Brian. What do you think? 22 seconds left. You still have 2 timeouts. What are you doing if you're Detroit? Are you going to just play it safe, kneel it out, or are you going to try to dial up at least a few plays to try to get you in the field goal range?
If I'm, obviously we're refreshing our stream, so the game doesn't show right now. But if I'm the Lions, I'm just going to let the clock run out, and I'm going to kind of try to regroup myself. This is really a tough situation for them.
I'll go ahead and take it for now until the stream's back up. But yeah, the Lions, I think you have to at least come out and try to get some positive yardage. You only have 19 seconds left on the clock here in the first half. Down 10 points. You have to get aggressive or you're not going to – this game's going to get away from you.
Yeah, and they got to do something about this, right? They're not able to run the ball or pass the ball, and it looks like the Giants are slowly getting their momentum going. Jimmy Garoppolo is starting to really kind of heat up. So this is not a good look for the Lions at this point.
So Kaya drops back to pass and actually finds his receiver on the right side. But the receiver, Kaya actually probably put that about 2 yards too far outside, out of bounds. Receiver's unable to get both feet down. So that would have been a huge play on first down. Now it's 2nd and 10, 14 seconds on the clock. Lions are really kind of backs against the wall at this point for this particular possession.
Yeah, so we're about 10 seconds longer into this, and we'll be back to the game. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty, but I do appreciate you kind of stepping in there and taking it here. So what are we looking at right now?
So Kaya's got an empty set, shotgun. He's got 5 wide, drops back to pass.
Oh, almost intercepted.
Actually, yeah, he throws it to the Wow, he throws it to the receiver on the left side of the screen there and into double coverage again. So we've said that multiple times for both teams is forcing throws into double and even triple coverage, and that ball just gets popped up in the air and it's up for grabs at that point. That's such a dangerous game to play.
And this was such a heartbreaker for the Detroit Lions to lose Stafford in Week 17. They had to play him, though, because they were really playing for that bye spot. But losing him, oh, man, you can already see what this is doing to their team.
Yeah, and that's – how's your stream, by the way, Brian? Are you back up and running?
Absolutely. It looks like he does pass it over to Landry. Landry gets popped, drops the ball, so they have 3 seconds left.
Yeah, but see, and that's not on Brad Kaya. That's actually a well-thrown ball. He delivers it with accuracy. The problem that I have there, and it's happened on multiple occasions, Jones with one, Landry with another, you have to haul in those passes in these clutch situations. And I wonder if Coach Nick is worried, or not necessarily worried, but if he's concerned with these drops at that point, because that moves the chains there.
Yeah, you have to be, especially with having a young, inexperienced quarterback like this. This is where your big-time receivers have to step up, because if he does make that great pass, it's not going to be every single time. So when he makes it, you have to catch the ball, like in that situation.
Yeah, and that's going back to what we talked about earlier. So you had mentioned that your key player to the game was Odell Beckham Jr. I had mentioned that mine was going to be Jarvis Landry. And if you really look at the two, Odell is winning this battle right now.
Absolutely, and it looks like he's winning pretty easily. 4th down and 10. They do allow the clock to expire. They do throw a screen pass. It doesn't go anywhere. So we go into halftime here. 10-0. What are your thoughts thus far?
Well, one thing I just want to say, even on that last pass, you'll notice that there was one free runner at the quarterback, and that's what actually stopped or prevented Kaya from being able to go deep down the left side. He had to check down, and obviously, that's not going to score a touchdown.
So it looks like – so I have just been informed that Savage is going to be playing in the second half. This is huge. So Tom Savage is going to be playing in the second half.
Now, if you remember, though, he had a good run in the NFL. He had a good run with the Texans 2 seasons ago, I think, where he actually took them deep into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's really no fault of Brad Kaya's. You're just putting him in a really, really bad situation. A young quarterback like this hasn't played any downs for an entire year and a half, and you throw him into a playoff game. So it's no fault of his, but they've got to go to Tom Savage. They've got to get some sort of momentum going, because this game is easily going to slip away from them.
Well, and the other thing that's interesting here is with Tom Savage, even if he's not necessarily, quote unquote, better on paper, he is more experienced. Brad Kaya really hasn't led any true NFL, teams as the starting quarterback. Savage has.
Absolutely, he has, and he's got a little bit more experience and better arm strength, I would think, as well. 1st down, they do go to the running back, and look at this. Dion Lewis almost breaks it for a touchdown, does get dragged down at the 46. This is the type of momentum that the coach is looking for.
Yeah, now that was a huge, huge play. The Lions have to be successful on the ground. If they're not successful on the ground, they don't have Matt Stafford to open up the playbook. So they have to have those chunk plays on the ground.
Absolutely. And this drive is going to be extremely important for them to, at least get some confidence here. It looks like they do throw the ball. Landry gets it. He is in for 6. This was a great pass. First pass of the game for Tom Savage, and you couldn't ask for a better pass.
Yeah, now there you go. So right there, actually, the key to that to me is that play action. So the play action opens it up. So you saw Dion Lewis go for 23, the play right before it, and almost take it to the house, actually. And then what happens next? He play actions, throws it over the top of the defense for 6.
Yeah, that was just that they needed that so bad. Now they're right back in the game. Instead of talking about how bad they're doing offensively, now we're talking about them only being down 3 points. The entire team has to be motivated at this point.
And the other thing, too, that I'm impressed with is they had generated essentially no offense for that entire first half. They come out and it's basically backs against the wall, do or die, have to get points on the board. You have the first possession of the second half, and they do. They go for 7 and really make this a game now.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we're going to see how they do, how they can respond to this. It looks like he does go over to his tight end and gets 1 yard. Nothing really good, but it looks like the Lions come out pretty aggressive on that one.
I was just going to say, the one thing that scares me if I'm Chad on that one is even though that's a relatively safe route typically, the Lions have been known this year for dialing up that aggressiveness in the secondary and taking those back to the house.
Absolutely here.
So there's a run there on 2nd and 9, down to 3rd and short. Looks like he picks up 8 yards on the inside zone handoff. So up 10-7, still playing conservatively, still sticking with the run. What do you think about that, Brian?
Oh, yeah, you have to go with that. You got to stick with the run, and you control the momentum of this game and control the game clock. So that's going to be huge. Looks like they're going to go down 3rd and 1 again. They do get the first down.
Now, those are tough yards to pick up, though. I know Gallman gets that first down, but honestly, I've been more impressed with Detroit's defensive line. Even though they're not stopping that run, they're bottling him up with only a 1 or 2 yard gain. So at some point, somebody's going to break through and get a stop and force a punt from the New York Giants.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they're going to come out in their 3 tight end set again. This is where they've been really successful, and surprisingly in this, and not the 3 wide receiver set. So first down and 10 at their own 38. Oh,
yeah, I've been impressed with Chad's play calling in this game so far. It's
I have than what too. He has actually really mixed it up. It looks like the left guard does go offside, so they are going to tack on 5 yards of that. It's going to be first down and 15. Not a great, that doesn't look good for the Giants because you especially with a game of defense, you really have to get every yard that you can. So that's not really. It looks like first down and 10. Look at that. First and 15. I'm sorry, and they get almost all of it back.
Yeah, I mean that's absolutely not what you want to see if you're the Detroit Lions. You just forced them into a first and 15. And then all of a sudden it's 2nd and 1. And again, it opens up the entire playbook for the Giants.
Absolutely. And it looks like it's 2nd down and 1, and they're going to run 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a running back. One thing I've noticed, he doesn't really run a fullback, does he?
No, I haven't seen that a lot either. And I think it's just because of the extra tight end on the field.
Yeah, I think so as well. Looks like they run the clock down to 2 seconds, gets a quick slant to his favorite target, Odell Beckham, the pass for the first down. Now they're driving. Now they're on the Lions 44. It looks like the Lions went pretty aggressive on that, and it did bite them in the butt. So good play calling by Chad.
And again, the one thing that, we are not really talking about is how long this possession is. He's moving the ball methodically. He's taking a ton of time off the clock.
Well, especially after, look at that, away overthrows it. And he's lucky that he threw it as far as he did because it looked like the safety, Josh Jones, was right there ready to snag that one. Well,
and the interesting thing to me is Josh Jones actually braced for a hit. If you look, he actually sat down in a crouch ready to hit, I believe it was Beckham. But you have to, he's been a stud all year, 14 interceptions, breaks the XCFL record. But you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, and that's kind of surprising that he didn't do that. So it looks like 2nd and 10, moving the ball, and it's going to be a 3rd and short situation. Gallman again. Look, he's over 100 yards, only 17 carries. He has been the player of the game thus far, especially being able to help the Giants control the clock.
He absolutely has. And on that, he broke 2 or 3 tackles right up front that easily could have dropped him. If not for a loss, it would have been for maybe 1 yard pickup.
Absolutely. Now, look, down they come out with the fullback. 3rd and 2. Looks like the Lions do expect to run.
Actually a tight end.
Oh, you're right. And it looks like they do fake the fullback dive up the middle with the toss, and it looks like the Lions were ready for that. So 4th and 4 on the 38.
Brian, I think ultimately that actually was, I believe, Evan Ingram in the backfield.
Wow. That was kind of weird. It looks like they're going for a field goal, and they do miss it. This is going to be huge because it is going to put the Lions in a great field position here.
Yeah. Now, the one thing that I didn't like about that last play call, on 3rd and 4, I think that slant route has been so successful. Why not dial it up again and move the chain?
Well, and we had talked about this before. It's just where the player outsmarts himself. Why do a fake toss or fake dive to a toss on 3rd and 4? I agree with you. That slant would have been there for them. So it looks like the Lions, not to interrupt, but Lions do run the ball. They do get a 1-yard loss on that. So it is going to be 2nd down and 11 on their own 44.
Yeah, and again, I'm actually, if not Wayne Gallman, I might be more impressed with the Giants defense. Outside of one possession, they have absolutely shut down this offense.
Yeah, they have. And Giants have been really impressive. So it looks like 2nd and 11. It looks like Savage all the time in the world throws it up to Landry. Landry, he does get the Giants do get the interception on that. Adams picks the ball. That was kind of a bad decision to throw in a double coverage like that.
Yeah, it wasn't kind of a bad decision. You got the ball back after a big missed field goal, able to either tie or take the lead. You cannot give the ball right back.
It looks like it was a situation where he just had too much confidence because of what happened the drive before.
Yeah, and we've all been there. I've done it where you want to take that home run, hit that home run directly following either a turnover or some sort of possession change.
Wow, look at this run. That was probably the best 4-yard run I've seen. He looked like he was dead to rights in the backfield, and he was able to actually move the defense and get 4 yards. That was a perfect play by Gallman.
I'll tell you what, win or lose on the scoreboard, this is going to be a win for Chad because even if he loses, he's going to have about 10 offers for Gallman after this game.
Absolutely. I agree with you fine. So it looks like it puts them in a 2nd and 6 situation on their own 24. I expect him to come out and run the ball. The Lions have had problems all day stopping it. Why not stay with it? Feed your back. Let him win the game for you.
Sorry, Brian. I have you on mute there.
That's all right. It looks like he does pass the slant like you had talked about to his favorite target, Odell Beckham, gets the 1st down. Perfect play calling in there.
Yeah, this is a great play call. It's actually, I'm not sure. He must have audibled into something, but because that didn't look like the route that we saw run.
No, it looks like he did hot route it.
Yeah.
And look, they're coming out in the 3 tight end set again. This has been Chad's forte is to come out in this 3 tight end set with the bigger backs. Look at that. Gallman almost gets – I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I was just going to say he's been able to pass and run out of that same formation. So really, why not? Because I know we talk about mixing up formations, but if that one formation allows you the ability to do both, pass and run, I actually like the play call to come out and just stay in that 3 tight end set.
Yeah, and that was a good, it's been working for you all day, so why not stay in that? So it's 2nd down and 9. Looks like they are going to come out in 3 wide receivers. But you are right. It doesn't look like Julio Jones has taken the field. It must be Marshall that I'm seeing. Jeffrey's been really quiet as well.
Yeah, and really, I mean, we all kind of try to had a hard time about Odell Beckham, but he is the focal point of this offense as you see a deep ball to him.
I don't like that. There was 2 wide receivers coming over the middle wide open. Garoppolo gets greedy with that. At this point, why are you doing that? It's 2nd and 9. Why don't you at least get 9 yards or 8 yards out of it. Get the first down. Move the chains. You're only up 3.
Exactly. And those are the plays that, personally, I would rather see Chad dial up on a first down, not a third or a second down.
Same here. Absolutely. I like that as well. I mean, he is trying to keep him honest, but, I mean, as you can see, he's already – oh, look at this. He gets it to Ingram. Ingram gets it down to the 15-yard line. Great pass by Garoppolo. Throws it to where only his receiver could get it.
Yeah, not only a great pass, but a great route by Ingram there. I don't know what that safety saw, but Ingram just snuck right by him and had it, I mean, literally just dropped in over the top of his head.
I mean, with all these other these star receivers, Ingram almost gets overlooked sometimes, and he's had a great season.
Yeah, he's a matchup nightmare too.
And it looks like they are going out in the 3 tight end set, gets the first down. Somebody is slow to get up. It looks like somebody's going to be injured, but they get 8 yards on that 2nd and 2. Lions are just really having problems stopping this run game.
Yeah, the Lions have that's what's actually, I think, surprised me the most on this side of the ball for the Lions is they've been unable to and they've been selling out on the run and still unable to stop Gallman.
Yeah, and it looks like 2nd and 2. They do not get the first down, but they do get a yard out of that. Most importantly, they do move the they move the ball, but they're also killing the clock. To me, if I'm the Giants, I'm just going to keep running the ball. If I had to settle for 3, I'm okay with that because your defense has been playing lights out all game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think ultimately you would love because it makes it a 2-possession game. But even 3 is, I'm okay settling with that.
Absolutely. And it looks like they are coming out in a goal line set. Gallman, the blocking has been phenomenal for the Giants. They get the first down, 1st and goal at the 2. What do you think about this blocking?
Well, the blocking has been absolutely unbelievable. You could have driven a truck through that hole. But on the other side of the ball, if I'm Detroit, I'm actually, I know it sounds crazy. I'm letting him walk in on that when he's already down to the 2-yard line. Because at this point, Chad's going to have the ability to run 2 or 3 more plays potentially, take off time off the clock, and you'd be up 2 possessions.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like they are coming out in the I form, first and goal at the 2. It looks like they're going to run the power, and Gallman, another touchdown. This guy has there's no way you cannot give this guy player of the game.
No, he absolutely is player of the game without a doubt.
So 17-7. This is going to be a tough hole for Nick to come out of. To me, it looks like Nick's going to have to at least get a field goal out of this next possession, especially only 6 minutes left.
Yeah, so now you have to get aggressive. And again, this is where you miss Matt Stafford because Stafford has the ability to change the game with his arm. And how many times have we seen him do it in real life where he brings the Lions back in the 4th quarter for a late game victory?
Oh, absolutely.
Going, though, with Tom Savage here.
I wonder what this game would have looked like if Tom Savage would have started from the get-go. Do you think that it would have been much different to what we're seeing now?
Yes and no. I think that, ultimately Kaya put them in kind of a handicap position where they were so far behind, moving the ball even, that it allowed Chad to really eat up the clock running the ball. And obviously Gallman, I don't think Gallman has a worse game, obviously. So I don't think that scoreboard-wise is maybe much different, but, the feel of the game could have been.
Oh, look at that. Nice pass to his running back. Gets to the 50. So they are going to run this hurry-up offense. 1st and 10.
Yeah, and I think
5:48.
As a defensive play caller, you got to be careful sitting too far back because, as you see there was a run with a wide open hole up the middle.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to get too conservative on this because
Absolutely.
that the Lions are not going to get. They're not going to try to get all the yards at once. So you've got to still play up. Look at that. He tries for the trucking, and he doesn't get it there. He kind of misses it. So he does get a little bit of yards back on that. So it's 3rd and 1 at the 41.
Yeah, but here's the one thing that I actually don't like about that is if it's me, it's 4 down territory here. So who cares? get out of bounds and stop the clock, because now you're wasting precious seconds that you could potentially use later on.
Yep, absolutely. So it looks like they are coming out in a 5-wide set. Looks like Savage comes back, gets it over to the middle, gets that first down that you were talking about to Galladay. He's been pretty reliable for them today.
He has, but there's that drag route or that in route that we haven't seen. And look at Savage, quietly 3 for 4, 84 yards passing. Just like you said, it might have been a different game if he started.
Yeah, and they're not out of it yet by any means. They do get the first down again. Savage quietly, like you said, driving them down the field, 4 for 5, 95 yards, gets it to his rookie receiver, McCoy, for the first down. Kind of surprising they don't come back out in a no huddle there.
Yeah. Now here, I hate to do the whole hindsight 2020 thing, but how much does that interception thrown in the corner of the end zone hurt the Lions now?
Oh, it kills them. You can't force the ball like that. I understand that you have the confidence now with Savage, but you've just completely, you're playing catch up now. You're playing catch up with a quarterback that hasn't played all year. You just signed him to the game, to the team a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, this is, it's one of those games we talk about. It's retrospect. How would they have looked if they had done this and this. So.
And this is questionable on multiple accounts for me. And I know, Nick actually recently just won Coach of the Year. My concern is twofold. One, you run a Wildcat formation, so they can sell out on the run because they know that Dion Lewis isn't exactly a deep ball threat.
Oh, and they do get the touchdown. I'm sorry, I did not mean to hit you there, but they did get the touchdown. Right. It looks like that. Yeah, I think that was Galladay.
Huge touchdown pass from Savage. But, going back real quick, had that play been run the previous play, they have 4.5, maybe more than that minutes on the clock. They took it almost a full minute off the clock by running that Wildcat.
Yeah, they did. But keep in mind, they're only down 3. They've got 3 minutes left in all their timeouts. So, it's going to be big for them to stop Chad here. And if it's me, I'm going to expect Chad to run the ball. So I'm going to come out in these bear formations. I'm going to try to make him beat me in the air.
Yeah, and I think here's the key here is if you can stop him. I mean, you could realistically allow them to get 1 first down, but you have to stop them from moving the ball more than moving the chains twice.
You're absolutely right, because 2 first downs and this game's over.
Yeah. They do have essentially 4 timeouts when you include the
2-minute warning. Yeah.
The warning.
So they do run the ball as expected. It's first down and 10. They do get about 3 yards out of that. Not, the sexiest run play in the world, but keep in mind they're running down that clock.
Yeah, but we haven't seen a whole lot of run plays from these haven't been creative run plays. They've just been line up and ram it down your throat, and Gallman has done the rest of the work. Yeah,
the blocking has been phenomenal. Why else would you go away from 7? Looks like they do run the counter to Gallman again. Gallman gets almost the first down. He's about 2 yards short from that, or actually 3 yards short from that. 3rd and 3. It looks like the Lions are choosing not to run, blow any of their timeouts. Probably smart, because if they do give up a first down, they're going to be able to keep all those timeouts left. So I do like this decision. What do you do if you're the Giants?
Well, so I'm going to disagree. I actually don't like this decision because you just wasted 40 seconds that could have been valuable. Now the Giants, all they need to do is basically get a first down, and this is over.
Well, not really, because they've got all 3 timeouts. So you still got all 3 timeouts. And if they do get the first down here, you can expect Chad to run all 3 times. I don't see him going away from that. But we are talking about a 3rd and 3 where the Lions have been really efficient this game, so they could stop them.
Yeah, this is a big 3rd down here.
And they run with Gallman again. Gallman does get the first down, and this is where you have to start taking your timeouts.
Yeah, I'm surprised that the Lions are not taking their timeouts.
No, the Lions are choosing not to take their timeouts, which I'm not really sure what's going on there. Maybe he doesn't.
Well, I think maybe what they're thinking is to call it on 2nd, 3rd, and hopefully after 4th.
Yeah, but I'm not going to run down 40 I'm not going to allow 40 seconds to run down. This makes no sense to me at all.
No, because the other thing is if you get Chad into maybe a 3rd and long and you force him to put the ball in the air, you could get an incompletion stopping the clock.
And look at that run. It looked like they blitzed all up that down the middle, and he still got a yard out of that. It looked like they got him in the backfield. So they do decide to call one of those timeouts. I think they're going with what you said. However, 40 seconds run down. I mean, they could be at minute 30 something here now.
Yeah.
Because regardless, with the first down, it's over. So
exactly, and I don't like the play calling. I shouldn't say the play calling, but the clock management that I saw. But everybody's got their own style of doing it.
Absolutely. Oh man, it looks like Gallman. If he could have got past that defender, he would have had an open hole for a first down and probably more, and been able to shut this game down. Instead, he goes down for a 2-yard carry. 3rd and 7, setting it up. I mean, obviously, the easy answer is, yeah, they're going to run the ball here, right? Keep going with the time.
That's what I would do, obviously. But again, so this is why I think you call that first time out.
Oh, no, they're not, because look what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they do call the timeout.
But, going back to it, that first timeout on first down could have potentially it makes him kind of think about it more, because now whether he completes a pass for less than 7 yards or he runs the ball, they're not, they're able to stop the clock. Before, if the Lions are out of timeouts at that point, then now he's able to put the ball on the ground and run it. And I think that's better for the Lions, even though the clock's running.
I totally agree with you. It looks like they do run the run there, and huge for the Lions. The Giants have to take an injury timeout, so they save one of their timeouts with this. Yeah, that's huge.
That's probably the biggest break of the game so far.
They do punt it. Oh, look at this punt. If he puts the backspin on it, nope, it is going into the end zone.
So he actually did have backspin on it, but he probably booted it about 3 feet too far.
Yep.
Because that's actually a great punt.
Well, I mean, you think about it. I have no problem with that punting it, because you're still putting them at the 20. So they still have a mountain to climb here. If I'm them, I'm playing in a dime, cover 2 situation.
And there's that middle again. So we've talked about it multiple times, how the middle has been open all game. I mean, it's been open literally every single time.
Well, and to be honest with you, he's probably glad he didn't catch that, because they would have
actually. Yeah, I apologize. I thought that he actually completed that catch.
I did for a second too, until I saw the time stop. So.
Well, my other option was I thought maybe Chad accidentally called a timeout, and I was about to make fun of him for it. But I'm glad that we didn't have.
I could see him doing that too. So. Oh, look at that middle. And it looked like Chad was ready for the corner route, so because obviously you think you're going to run that so they can't get out of bounds, or so they can get out of bounds, but they go over the middle to Landry.
And that's the thing is, when you can pick up a chunk play like that, is you have time to do. And now look at what a tackle, though, keeping him
in bounds. That's huge.
Wow. And only a pickup of 5, so it's not like – I mean, I'm okay with you going over the middle with those big chunk plays. And I know that obviously over the middle, but unbelievable.
Oh, and he stops him to go get out of bounds. They have to call a timeout there. So this kind of puts them in a tough situation. They still have 18 seconds, so even if they get a completion and it's not out of bounds, they can pull the kicking team out here. But this is huge. What do you do if you're Nick?
Well, I think, honestly, if it's me, because the Giants are sitting pass all day, I think I'm running a draw and trying to get it up to about the 30-yard line, spike it, and at least give yourself a chance inside a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah, I like that, but it doesn't look like they're going to go with that yet. 15 up. They're going to go to the outside there. They did get the first down, but they've got 10 seconds. What are they going to do? Are they going to be able to spike it? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. They're not going to
get it off.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
That is heartbreaking for the Lions.
Right there is where that timeout would have come in handy, and it's two big tackles on the sideline to keep them in bounds.
That was huge. I cannot believe that. But you have to say, this was a great game by both teams.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest game, obviously. There was some questionable play calling. I really thought, to be very honest, I thought that Chad played a game that's completely outside of his norm, calling up defensive pressure, going out of 3 tight end looks. Really a totally different version of what I played him last year. So I got to give him credit on that.
Yeah, and he was able to move the ball. The Lions look like they just put Tom Savage in a little bit too late. It looks like they could have probably it could have looked different if they would have put him in at the beginning of the game. That was a great finish, though. I mean, it kind of reminds reminiscent of the Titans being short against the Rams in the Super Bowl, and Kevin Dyson reaching for that touchdown and he couldn't get it. It kind of reminds you of that. They just couldn't get it. They were a couple seconds away. Great way to start off the playoffs. Heartbreaking for the Lions. They had such a great season, but I know Coach Nick, he'll have them back here again. Before we leave, though, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, so one thing that I want to, as they're kind of just scrolling through here, Brad Kaya had a 42.4 rating and Tom Savage with a 120.5. Again, and I know you can't really second guess it, but if he comes in earlier in the game, this is a totally different game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like they only needed about 1 or 2 more seconds to get that. It's hard, Nick, my heart goes out to him because that's got to be heartbreaking for him. 14-2, the Giants had their number this season. They beat them twice, and when it counted. I mean, hats off to Chad.
3 losses this year for Nick, and 2 of them came to Chad.
Yeah, that's incredible. And to look at this, it looks like if we look at the playoff picture now, it looks like it's going to be the Cardinals visiting the Atlanta Falcons, and it looks like the Giants are going to be visiting the CPU Cowboys. What are your thoughts on these 2 matchups?
Well, for one, I think the Cardinals-Falcons is a rematch of last year. I think that the Cardinals had the Falcons number last year, but it was a closely fought, closely contested game. Biggest thing, obviously, is going to be stopping the run on both sides. You have both teams with these behemoth offensive lines and phenomenal running backs. So that's going to be a kind of a knockdown, drag-it-out fight. And then on the other side, Giants and Cowboys, honestly, I'll be interested to see what the CPU Cowboys pull up because, it's always hard to play the computer because you don't have, as we know, they don't really play sim. So
no, they don't.
The interesting thing will be Chad. Is he able to kind of overcome some of that CPU cheese? That's what the C stands for. Be able to overcome it and get to the next round.
And look at the way that the Cowboys won. I mean, if you look at their team offensive line, it's brutal. Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, the Giants are going to have to stop him. If it was me, I'm keen on him, and that's it, because they're going to run the ball down the throat, whether it be Josh using them or the CPU. It's going to be a great playoff. We have some great playoff sets. So we are actually starting, the AFC is looking a little bit similar. So we look like the Titans, as long as it looks like the Titans are going to be playing the Browns, and the winner of the Jags and the Patriots, which have just started, are going to be playing the Raiders. So this is going to be a great playoff. I'm sure we'll be seeing you guys again. For my partner Justin. Thank you for joining us, and everybody keep tuning in because we have great things ahead.